Hey, what's up guys, Tommy here, back again with another video, and I feel like recently my bike just hasn't been as well put together as it usually is. Now I believe that part of this is because I've added multiple upgrades since I last put this bike together, but because I've sort of thrown these upgrades on over the last couple of years, I feel like my bike has almost just become disorganized. I'm having issues with wires just not being in the places they should be. On top of that, the original vinyl wrap that I added to this bike is starting to go bad, so that's why I'm also going to be adding some new matte black wrap to this frame. I also need to extract this bolt from my forks that was cut a couple years back. Now because we have all these issues going on, I think the best course of action here is just to take the bike apart and rebuild it. You're watching Enduro. If you haven't already, make sure to go ahead, hit that like button, leave a nice comment down below, and most importantly subscribe so you can help me reach my goal of 10,000 subscribers, and let's get right into it. Alright fellas, so it's time to take this thing back apart. Destruction is always easier than construction, so this should only take about 25 minutes. Alright, so a little update. I was actually taking off that front wheel over there and I ended up slicing into my finger. So I gotta get that patched up and we'll get back to it. Alright guys, so I finished taking this bike apart and it's looking like a bit of a mess here, which it is. If we come and look at some of these individual parts here, as you can see, there's a lot of dirt and grime build up here. I sort of have these ugly stickers covering up some like sort of rusty spots on this frame. So I'm just looking to totally rewrap this frame and it's gonna look really cool, I think, in the end. Alright guys, so let's start with our list of objectives here. We're gonna start by organizing all of these parts. Then we're gonna clean certain parts individually, at least parts that need cleaning. And then we are going to fix/replace anything that needs to be replaced. So let's get right into it. So what I think we're gonna do first is remove all of this old wrap, all of these old stickers. We're gonna hit it with a sponge, scrub this thing down until it's nice and clean, and then we're gonna dry it off and add our new vinyl wrap. I think it's gonna look super good. I have a sponge and I'm not afraid to use it. So at this point in the video, we're finally getting around to wrapping this frame. I'm just using some matte black vinyl wrap that I got off of Amazon. I've used it before. I really like it. It's scratch resistant. It cleans really easy. And I'll make sure to go ahead and leave a link for it down in the description below this video, just in case you want to wrap your bike as well. So I'm sure there's going to be some vinyl wrap experts in the comments who are going to give me crap about how I'm doing this. But honestly, the technique I'm using has worked out pretty well for me in the past. I basically just clean the frame, apply it, make sure that there's no air bubbles, and then I use a knife along with the edge of the frame and I slice it off, and it usually ends up coming out very clean. After that, it was onto our forks, which really just needed a simple scrub down. So as mentioned previously, I'm trying to get this bolt out, which was cut a long time ago, which is kind of stuck in there. I could just use the traditional bolt remover, but I don't have one on hand. I'm thinking I cut into this sideways, make a little notch, and that way I could unscrew it with a flathead wrench. This might be a dumb idea. I don't know if you can see what I'm working with here, but I've done it before, so I'm thinking there's a chance we can make this work. So yeah. Oh, there we go. Before we move on, let me tell you about this channel's proud sponsor, Oskang's Smart Wallet. So this is Oskang's Smart Wallet. I've been using it for the last month or so, and I absolutely love its performance, and let me tell you why. Once you get past its amazing looks, you have this nice convenient ID holder, this card holder which holds about 10 cards. It has a little switch there which slides everything up. My favorite feature though, which really matters here, is it has built-in Apple Find My capabilities with a 5-year long battery life, which basically means you know where your wallet's going to be at all times no matter what. It also has a built-in speaker, which means if you press a button on the Apple Find My app on your phone, your wallet will start making noise. So gone are the days where you lose your wallet under a pile of clothes. you will always know where this thing is at all times. If you want to get your own Osking Smart Wallet, make sure to go ahead and check out the link down in the description below this video. These sell out quick, so make sure to get yours now. But anyways, back to the video.
Alright guys, so we cleaned up this frame, we cleaned up our forks, we got rid of that damn bolt, we added our vinyl wrap, which by the way is looking very nice, and now you, my friend, will be rewarded for watching this far into the video, because it's time that we finally start our reassembly of this bike. First and foremost, like always, we're going to start by putting in the forks first.
So after all that, we're finally back to the reassembly, and honestly this was going very smoothly. I've taken apart this bike and put it back together multiple times, so at this point it's muscle memory and it goes by pretty quick for me. After the front forks, it was on to the rear shock. And now I just wanted to mention a little point that a lot of people bring up in the comments. A lot of people accuse me of not really doing build videos on this channel, and instead they say that I do assembly videos. And I just want to clear up that they're sort of right, but they're also sort of wrong. And let me tell you why. I would say that the first time you put this bike together, after you buy all the parts online, after you go to certain stores to find certain bolts to get everything to fit together, or maybe you have to drill holes in the frame, that is when you can call this bike a build. But then where this bike actually crosses the line from build to assembly is when you've already built the bike and you're like me, and for whatever reason you need to take it apart and put it back together, because at that point you already have everything there. There's no guesswork involved. You've already built it, so you know where all the parts go, how it all fits together, and then you're really just using muscle memory and the instructions that you have in your mind to put it together. At that point it's an assembly, but the first time you do it, I would probably consider that a build. Now that I've got that point across to you and we've gotten through all the easy stuff, now it's time for the tedious part, which is soldering back together all of your electronics. Now again, it's the same thing. I already know how to do it. There's no guesswork involved here. I already know how everything goes, but if any of you know anything about soldering, if you're not super experienced, it can be very difficult for somebody who's sort of a noob at soldering to like get stuff together. And when I say this took like 2 hours, it took like 2 hours of and I mean 2 hours of just continuous work, not 2 hours of me like doing it and leaving and going on my phone. No, it was just tedious and it kind of sucked, right? Especially because my soldering iron broke, so I ended up using an actual lighter, like an actual lighter for a barbecue, to do some of these solders, and it actually turned out okay. But yeah, just tedious. And basically what I was doing here was hooking up the cooling fan and the lights to the 12-volt down step, which basically takes voltage from the battery, which is 72 volts, and converts it to 12 volts so that different little accessories like lights and fans can be used. So anyways, after I finished all that soldering and getting the connectors put together, I ended up just wrapping up any extra wires that needed to be wrapped up. As you know, with many of these e-bike kits, many of these wires and stuff, they actually give you a lot of extra wire just so they can make sure that no matter what your bike looks like, no matter what shape and size, you'll have enough wire on certain connectors to like reach wherever you need. But if you have a sort of smaller bike like this where everything's in the same area, you end up having a lot of stuff to coil up. So that's why there looks like there's a lot of extra wires in my frame when there really isn't too many. So after doing that, I just attached my motor cable to my controller and I threw that bad boy into the top of my frame. And with all that being said, we were just about done with putting this bike back together. Now, if you're watching this for the first time and you don't know about my channel, I actually have a more in-depth video about where to buy everything and how to build this thing down to every last little bolt and screw. So finally at the end of it, I put my controller in and screwed it in, and then we were able to put on that side panel finally because everything was all put together, and I was very happy about how this turned out, even though most of it was just cosmetic stuff, cleaning and maybe fixing a few things here and there. It just made my bike feel so much better. And if you ever have the opportunity just to like put some time aside, take apart your old bike that's maybe giving you some issues and just go through it and clean it, it might function a lot better than it did before just because you've gotten all that dirt and grime out of the way. Alright guys, so thanks so much for watching this video. If you've made it this far, make sure to go ahead and comment endoprism down below and I'll make sure to go ahead and heart it. I just wanted to quickly mention that I'm in the works for some new projects on this channel. And I know I've stated this before, right, with the electric moto conversion. That one actually ended up having a problem, which made it so I couldn't do. But I'm actually going to be doing something that's sort of similar to the Enduro e-bike, but it's going to be sort of like a cheaper budget option that's a lot easier for people to do. So I'm actually really excited to start making videos about that, and I've already ordered my parts. With that being said, if you haven't already, make sure to go ahead, hit that like button, leave a nice comment down below, and most importantly, subscribe so you can help me reach my goal of 10,000 subscribers. And I'll see you guys soon in the next one.